Check this out. The other day I was on Twitter, or X, and I came across this tweet from NBA Central. Hoping it was a post by Centel, I proceeded to look at it, and to my disappointment, it was not a Centel post. But even so, the tweet posed an interesting question. 4 elite guards, Cade Cunningham, Tyrese Maxey, LaMelo Ball, and Tyler Herro. One of them gotta go. So let's go. Come on, pick your poison. But when I went to see the responses, I was amazed by one thing. The huge number of people who said Tyler Herro. I mean, I get it. After his incredible 2020 finals run at the age of 20, it did seem like his career had stalled a bit. He was simply one of the 30, maybe 40-ish best players in the league, but it didn't look like he'd become a superstar, did it? Well, I think people haven't seen the Heat much this season, which I understand, because Tyler Herro right now isn't even close to the player who has to go. Why? Don't worry, I'll explain in this video. Tyler Herro's not your usual late lottery pick. He's not the typical player who had to earn a reputation, because his hype had always been there. The man averaged 32.9 points, 7.4 rebounds, 3.6 assists, and 3.3 steals per game in his senior year at Whitnall High School. Everyone in Wisconsin knew who he was, but his style of play made him known much further afield. When Herro, despite being a prospect that many agencies ranked outside the top 30 in his class, got a spot at Kentucky, his hype multiplied even more. Because that roster John Calipari had at his disposal in the 2018-19 season was stacked. As many as 6 players who made their NBA debut were on a team that won 30 games that season. PJ Washington, Keldon Johnson, Emmanuel Quickley, Nick Richards, Ashton Hagens, and Tyler Herro. But despite the fact that some of these players were in their sophomore year and had more experience, Tyler took charge of the team's offense. His 14 points per game was the second highest scoring average in the team, and his 2.5 assists average was also the second highest on the roster. And with a season like that, and after Kentucky got in the Elite Eight, Tyler knew he was going to find a spot in the draft lottery. In the end, it was Eric Spoelstra's Miami Heat who were the ones who decided to take a chance on it. A surprising team, considering that Heat culture doesn't usually use players of Herro's profile. An offense-heavy guard who doesn't stand out on defense or have outstanding athleticism. But on the other hand, that was just what they needed. A bucket getter capable of opening up defensive games with his shot creation, and that's precisely what Tyler promised and delivered. During his rookie season, the Heat reached the NBA Finals against the Los Angeles Lakers, and Herro was one of the main reasons why this happened. In the conference finals against the Celtics, he dropped 37 points with 14 of 21 field goals. And it seemed that Pat Riley had not only found the perfect player to surround Butler with, but maybe a potential star of his own. Tyler won the 6th Man of the Year award in 2022 when he averaged a league-high 21 points off the bench in his 3rd season in the league, but for some reason, from the following season in which he was a starter, his career didn't quite take off. In fact, he didn't participate in the great playoff run of 2023, in which the Heat reached the NBA Finals from the play-in in an incredible postseason, despite not being able to count on him. But now that the Heat have turned the page on the Jimmy Butler era, he's become the offensive leader. The player called upon to be the first option. The result? It's been incredible. Herro setting career highs in points, rebounds, assists, and steals this season. Also in field goal percentage, also in free throws attempted per night, also in PER, true shooting, win shares both defensive and offensive. He's leading in offensive BPM and BPM, also in assist percentage and usage, and also in free throw rate. It's not that he's improved in many aspects at the expense of a few. Herro's improved in every detail of his game, from efficiency to production, and that's helped him be selected for the first time in his career for the All-Star game this season. But how has he done it? If you're a Heat fan, you've probably noticed. His style of play has changed drastically from other seasons. Herro's attacking the hoop much more frequently. For the last 2 seasons, he had been one of those few players who had based his game on the mid-range. He was an elite triple threat scorer. But the mid-range isn't an easy shot. His efficiency has increased when he's managed to convert many of those long twos, where he's shooting at a career low volume, into threes and layups. And for that reason, his efficiency has skyrocketed. And since the whole Jimmy suspension fiasco, his playmaking has advanced to the next level. Herro's been averaging 6.4 assists since mid-January. He's the main playmaker of the team with an extremely high offensive load. But what's the problem? Well, the Heat are far from being competitive like in the past. We already know that they're not a regular season team. They're used to cruising along on autopilot till April, and it's then when they get their act together. But this year, that's going to seem impossible. Bam Adebayo, a player with tremendous talent and defensive impact, is failing in his increased role. He's averaging 16, 10, and 5, but his true shooting of 52.3% is the second worst among all starting centers this season. Terry Rozier is a tremendously inefficient guard who's also shooting especially poorly from long range. It was a Heat gamble that didn't pay off when he was having the best run of his career in Charlotte. Meanwhile, young players like Nikola Jovic or Jaime Jaquez have shown their ability to adapt to a role in the league and be valuable, but they're just not impactful enough to become floor raisers. The way this team is built, it just doesn't make sense without their former franchise player. So for better or for worse, this explosion of Herro into a star has not come at the best possible time. All the turmoil surrounding Jimmy Butler's affected the chemistry of a team built around him, and now Riley has to make the difficult decision that GMs have to make after years of competing. Does he press that button to start things over? Or maybe there's some intermediate solution. If the Heat manage to get a hold of a 1A or even a 1B star, they could continue trying to compete in the current window. Bam is 27, Tyler's 25, and newcomer Wiggins is 29. A player who could be used as a salary filler, along with some draft picks to try and extend the options of a project that's never stopped trying to be competitive. Think about it. Since Bosh and Braun joined Wade in 2009, Riley's never rebuilt. He even made his attempt with Luol Deng when LBJ returned to Cleveland, and from 2019 they were competitive thanks to Butler. So what makes you think they're going to stop trying now? Herro may not be the first option capable of serving as a franchise saver, but he's clearly a high-impact player. Alongside another star, he could shine as one of the best second options in the NBA. Even more so with the learning process he's bound to go through as a first option over the coming months or perhaps years. Although it is also true that in the case of a player who's just reaching his prime, forcing him to be on a team with a limited roster could be considered a waste. Maybe it's already too much. Maybe the Heat will have to start from scratch with a new roster construction. And maybe the best thing for Tyler's career would be to leave the team in the short term and find his place on a roster with more options. Because the truth is that, right now, Miami seems like a team without a direction. The rumors are going to start to appear. He's going to become one of the most coveted targets in the entire league. Especially now that he's performing like a max contract player for a much lower contract, which he'll earn about $60 million over the next 2 seasons. A lot of teams could exploit his strengths. He could be used as a secondary playmaker in a role that we're seeing more and more in the league. All teams that want to aspire to something need a player like this for the playoffs. Whatever happens, one thing's clear to me. Tyler Herro does not have the status he deserves in the league. This year he's not only earned a place in the conversation with other elite guards such as Maxey, Cade, and LaMelo, but he's also proven capable of winning more games than all of them except Cunningham. Although the Heat are not a championship team, they're also not a disaster. And that's thanks to a guard who's staking his claim to change his role in an increasingly demanding league. Now, how far will he go?